Your life won't change until you do something about it. That's the mindset shift most people never make. They wait, they blame, they delay. But the truth is clear. Success starts with you. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. This isn't about being perfect. It's about getting real with yourself and deciding you're done wasting potential. You're done giving energy to excuses. You're done living the same day over and over again. If you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of talking about goals that never happen, then it's time to look in the mirror. Because your growth, your progress, your results, they all begin the moment you take full ownership of how you live. In this audiobook, you're going to learn how to become your best self by taking action, not just thinking about it. This is the wake-up call most people need. You don't need motivation, you need direction, and it starts with a decision to lead yourself forward. Chapter 1. Take ownership and change how you live today. Success starts with you, not with your boss, not with your parents, not with the world. It starts with you. That's the first truth. If your life is not where you want it to be, the first step is not looking around, it's looking in the mirror. Because until you take full ownership of where you are, you won't be able to move forward. And that's the part most people skip. They wait for things to change before they change. They want something outside of them to get better, and then they'll step up, but it doesn't work that way. Change doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside. You have to decide right now that you're responsible for your life, all of it, the good parts and the bad parts, the progress and the mistakes. And that's not easy to do. It takes strength to admit that you're the one who let things slide. It takes humility to say you haven't given your best. But if you want a different result, you've got to start living a different way. Every day you delay ownership, you delay progress. And most people spend years in that delay. They blame time, money, people, the past, the system, everything but themselves. It feels good in the moment. Blame gives you comfort, but comfort is what kills your growth. If you keep waiting for something to rescue you, you'll keep going in circles. You'll live frustrated, you'll live confused, and you'll wonder why nothing changes. But here's the thing. If you created the mess, you can clean it up. If your decisions led you here, your new decisions can lead you somewhere better. That's power, that's not weakness. That's not failure, that's control. That means you don't have to wait. You can start today, you can take the wheel, you can rebuild your schedule, you can fix your finances, you can take care of your health, you can stop putting things off. There's no magic moment coming, there's no perfect time waiting. The perfect time is when you decide that now is the time. And if you wait until you feel ready, you'll never feel ready. Ready comes after you begin. Confidence comes after you act. Clarity comes when you move. People who wait for motivation are always stuck. People who rely on discipline make progress. And discipline starts with a choice, not a feeling, a decision. So ask yourself, how are you really living? Not what you show people, not what you tell yourself. How are you really living? How are you spending your days? What do your habits say about you? What kind of energy are you bringing into your home, into your work, into your relationships? And if you don't like the answer, don't run from it. Don't distract yourself. Face it. That honesty is your new starting point. That truth is your new foundation. Don't be ashamed of where you are, just don't stay there. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is consistent action. That's it. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not a secret formula, it's not even motivation. It's consistent daily action based on strong decisions. And those decisions begin when you take ownership of how you're living now. No one's coming to fix your life for you. And that's not bad news. That's good news. That means the power is in your hands. That means you don't have to beg. You don't have to wait. You don't have to hope someone gives you permission. You give yourself permission. You become the person who follows through. You become the person who shows up. You become the person who stops talking and starts doing. If your time is being wasted, take it back. If your energy is being drained, protect it. If your goals are being neglected, make them non-negotiable. And if your habits are out of control, take control. Don't wait for someone to push you. Push yourself. Don't wait for a crisis to force change. Choose change now. Growth is uncomfortable, responsibility is heavy, but both are worth it. You don't grow from what's easy. You grow when you get serious. Nobody else knows what it's like to be you. Nobody else is living your life, so nobody else can make your changes. Only you know what's been holding you back. Only you know what you keep avoiding, and only you can stop the cycle. Taking ownership is not about guilt. It's not about punishment. It's about taking your power back. It's about drawing a line and saying, from now on, I lead my life. It's about waking up each day with a clear goal and a clear reason why. When you take ownership, you stop lying to yourself. You stop hiding behind the past. You stop pretending you don't know what to do. You know what to do. You've just been ignoring it. You've been pushing it aside. You've been waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the right motivation. But that moment is now. The mood will come later. Right now, all that matters is your decision. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, right now. Start small if you have to. Clean up one area, change one habit, wake up 30 minutes earlier, turn off distractions, set a rule and follow it, track your actions, reward your progress, hold yourself to a higher standard. If you keep doing that every day, even when no one's watching, something happens. You start to believe in yourself. You start to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you make better choices. You build stronger routines. You stop settling. You stop complaining. You stop quitting halfway. That's the real reward of taking ownership. It's not just about results. It's about identity. You start becoming someone who follows through, someone who finishes, someone who leads, someone who changes their own life. So if you want success, real success, stop waiting, stop pointing fingers, stop avoiding the mirror, take a deep breath and say, it always has, and it always will. Your life doesn't change when things around you change. Your life changes when you decide to lead it. When you stop reacting and start building, when you stop wishing and start doing, success starts with you. That's not a slogan, that's the truth, so act like it. Live like it. Make today the day you stop letting life happen and start creating the life you want. And never forget, if you want to become your best self, no one can do it for you. But the good news is, no one can stop you either. Chapter 2. Stand up and do what needs to be done. Most people already know what they need to do. They've known it for weeks, months, maybe even years. It's not about not knowing, it's about not doing. It's about the gap between your intentions and your actions. The truth is, nobody is coming to push you. Nobody is going to wake you up early. Nobody will force you to get serious about your life. That's your job. And if you want to become your best self, you have to start by doing the hard things that you keep avoiding. There comes a point where thinking about it isn't enough. Talking about it isn't enough. Planning it isn't enough. You have to stand up and do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's where real growth begins. Not when it's easy, not when you're excited, but when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, when it's the last thing you feel like doing. That's when you have to choose to rise anyway. It's not about being perfect. It's about being responsible. You know the areas of your life that need work. You know the conversations you've been avoiding. You know the work you've been putting off. You know the habits that are dragging you down. You don't need more advice. You don't need another reminder. What you need is to take control and do something about it. You don't get better by chance. You get better by choice. And it's a choice you have to make every single day. Not just once, not just when you're inspired, every day. That's what separates the ones who change from the ones who stay the same. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's action. Consistent, deliberate, uncomfortable action. You don't need anyone to believe in you before you act. Start before you're supported. Start before you're ready. Start before you feel confident. Because confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Confidence grows when you do the thing you've been afraid of doing. You build strength by doing the hard stuff, not avoiding it. People say they're waiting for the right time, but there is no perfect moment. Life doesn't pause for you to catch up. If you keep waiting, life will pass you by. And you'll still be stuck in the same place next year. You don't want that. Deep down you know you were made for more, but knowing it isn't enough. You've got to prove it with what you do next. It's easy to say you want to improve. It's easy to set goals. It's easy to say you'll start tomorrow. But the real test is showing up today. Tired or not, busy or not, afraid or not. Life doesn't reward what you say, it rewards what you finish. So stop trying to feel ready, stand up and do what needs to be done. Clean your space, fix your routine, cut the excuses, stop spending hours on distractions, stop telling yourself you'll change when things calm down. Start doing the work now. Start moving forward now, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it's small. Because the only way to build momentum is to take that first step. Then the next, and the next. That's how things shift. You don't need motivation, you need movement. Get your body moving, get your mind clear. Decide what matters most and go after it. Be ruthless with your priorities. Be honest about where you're wasting time. Be willing to make sacrifices. Because the life you want isn't going to hand itself to you. You have to earn it. And earning it means doing things when no one is watching. It means sticking to your word when no one else is checking in. It means keeping your promises to yourself, even when nobody else would notice if you gave up. That's what builds character. That's what builds strength. That's what builds a life you can be proud of. The people who get ahead in life don't have more time. They make better use of it. They don't always have more talent. They have more discipline. They don't feel motivated every day. They've trained themselves to act anyway, because they know the cost of staying the same is higher than the pain of growth. If you want a better life, you have to do better things. You have to take full ownership of your decisions. If something is broken, fix it. If something is draining you, remove it. If you're off track, get back on track. And if you've let yourself down before, forgive yourself. Then start again stronger. Stop overthinking. Stop complaining. Stop blaming. None of that moves you forward. Action moves you forward. When you start doing the work, things begin to change. You think more clearly, you feel more in control, you develop new strength, you start seeing results. And once you taste progress, it becomes addictive. You won't want to go back, and you won't need anyone to push you anymore, because you'll start pushing yourself. That's the goal, to become the kind of person who doesn't wait to be told, who doesn't depend on external pressure, who rises every day and does what's necessary without being asked. That's power. That's maturity. That's growth. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding that needs to be done? Be real about it. No more pretending, no more hoping it fixes itself. It won't. You have to face it. You have to stand up and handle it. That's what turning your life around looks like. It starts in private. It starts when nobody claps, nobody cheers. It starts when you choose to face what's uncomfortable. And it's going to be tough. You're going to be tired. You're going to want to give up some days. But you push through it anyway. You keep going because you know that nothing changes until you do. You know that success doesn't come to people who wait. It comes to people who work. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need personal responsibility. That's it. Own your time. Own your energy. Own your decisions. Own your results. The moment you do that, everything begins to shift. You stop feeling helpless, you stop living passively, you start creating a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you've settled to be. And don't forget, no one can take this from you. No one can stop you from doing what needs to be done. You've got the same hours as everyone else. You've got the same chance to reset. You've got the same ability to grow. You just have to start acting like it matters. Because it does. You won't get another version of this life. This is it. This is your chance. This is your time. Don't waste it waiting. Don't waste it avoiding the work. Stand up. Handle your responsibilities. Fix what needs fixing. Build what needs building. You already know what needs to be done. Now do it. That's how you take your life from average to excellent. That's how you become your best self. That's how real success begins. Not with words, but with action. Chapter 3. Clean up your habits before they control you. If your life feels off track, it's probably not because of one big decision. It's the small ones that stack up over time. The ones you make without thinking. The ones you repeat every day. Your habits are shaping your results, whether you see it or not. And if you're not careful, the very things you do without much thought will quietly take over and run your life for you. That's why cleaning up your habits isn't optional. It's necessary, because if you don't control your habits, they will absolutely control you. The routines you follow, even the smallest ones, either build your future or steal it from you. Most people don't realize how much of their life is ruled by automatic behavior. They don't stop to think. They wake up and grab their phone first thing. They scroll, they delay, they skip the hard choices, and they tell themselves they'll do better tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month, and slowly, life starts to feel like it's out of your hands. That's not because the world is unfair. It's because your habits are running the show, and they're not designed to help you grow. They're built on convenience, not intention. You can't fix your life if you're still living with the same habits that broke it. It doesn't work that way. You can have big goals. You can have strong desires, but if your daily behavior doesn't match your vision, you're only dreaming. Discipline begins with being honest about what you're doing when no one's watching. It's about facing the fact that some of the routines you've normalized are not helping you. They're quietly holding you back. Think about the first hour of your day. That sets the tone for everything. If you're starting with chaos, with noise, with distraction, don't be surprised when the rest of your day follows that same pattern. You need structure. You need intention. You need routines that pull you forward, not ones that drag you down. And you can't wait until life gets easier to build them. You build strong habits in the middle of prep. That's where they matter most. Start by taking inventory of how you're living, not just what you think you're doing, what you're actually doing. What time are you waking up? How are you spending the first and last parts of your day? What are you eating? What are you watching? What are you saying yes to that you know you should have said no to? You have to look at all of it. No emotion, no guilt, just truth, because until you see the full picture, you can't change anything. Habits don't care how you feel. They're automatic. That's why it's so easy to fall into bad ones. They require no thought. They give instant relief, but they cost you progress. And the worst part is, the longer you keep them, the harder they are to break. So don't wait until you hit bottom. Don't wait until you're completely stuck. You don't need to hit a wall before you take action. You just need to decide that how you're living now isn't good enough anymore. You need to raise your personal standard. And once you've decided, act immediately. Don't overthink it. Start replacing the habits that waste your time with ones that use your time. You don't have to change everything overnight. That's not how growth works. You change one habit, then another. You keep going. You stay consistent. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be committed. Start going to bed on time. Stop hitting snooze. Make your bed. Drink more water. Read every day. Get off social media when you feel bored. Move your body. Track what matters. Keep your space clean. These sound simple because they are, but they're not easy. That's why most people ignore them. They're looking for the big fix. They want a major breakthrough. But real progress is boring. It's unglamorous. It's quiet. It happens when you decide to do what's right instead of what's easy, even when no one's looking. And yes, your old habits will fight you. They'll try to pull you back. Your mind will make excuses. Your body will crave comfort. But you have to be stronger than the pull of your past, because the habits you keep are either building your best self or reinforcing your weaker self. You can't have both. You have to choose. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. What you need is structure. You need to design your day in a way that supports the person you want to become. Make it hard to fail. Make your environment push you forward. If you're always tempted by distraction, remove it. If you always skip workouts, prepare the night before. If you always forget your goals, put them where you can see them every day. That's what personal growth looks like, not just mindset shifts, but real, practical adjustments. You need to stop saying, "This is just who I am." That's not the truth. That's just a story you've repeated so many times, it's turned into your identity. But identities can be rewritten, habits can be reshaped, and life can be rebuilt. But not if you keep living on autopilot. Not if you keep choosing comfort. Not if you keep acting like change will somehow happen without effort. You already have what it takes. You've just been too distracted to see it. You've been too busy keeping your old routine going to notice how much it's costing you. And the cost is high. Wasted time, low energy, lost confidence, unfulfilled potential. That adds up. And one day you'll wake up and realize you've spent years living below your capabilities, all because you didn't take the time to clean up your habits. So don't waste another day repeating the same cycle. Don't let another month go by doing what you've always done. Take back your time. Reclaim your focus. Break your lazy routines and replace them with systems that work. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every good habit you build is a small act of self-respect, and every bad habit you break is a step toward freedom. Your future is built one decision at a time, one morning at a time, one choice at a time. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. They want shortcuts. They want overnight results. But the ones who win in the long run, they do the work no one sees. They stay consistent when it's boring. They show up when it's hard. They keep their habits tight, because they know if they don't, those habits will tighten around them. The difference between a successful person and someone who never makes it isn't just mindset, it's daily execution. It's having a system. It's having routines that work even when you don't feel like working. It's waking up and following through, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. And if you want to live a life you're proud of, it starts right here, with what you do when no one's watching, with what you repeat every day, with how you respond to discomfort. So stop waiting for the right moment. This is the moment. You already know what needs to go. You already know what's not working. Now it's on you to fix it. Start small, start now. Start with the habits that shape your day, because once those change, everything else will follow. Control your habits, or your habits will control you. And once they do, they'll decide your life for you. Don't let that happen. Take your power back. Choose discipline. Choose structure. Choose actions that help you grow. This is your life, and it's time to start living like it matters. Chapter 4. Choose growth even when comfort feels easier today. Most people never grow because comfort is too easy to choose. It's familiar. It's safe. It gives you short-term relief. But what it doesn't give you is progress. What it doesn't build is strength. You can't move forward by staying where it's easy. You can't become your best self by staying the same. Every day you're faced with a choice: to take the path that stretches you or the one that keeps you the same. And most of the time, the one that stretches you is the one you don't feel like choosing, but it's the one that matters the most. Growth is not supposed to feel good at the start. That's what makes it growth. It's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. It demands more from you than you're used to giving. But if you only do what feels easy, you'll never know what you're really capable of. You'll stay stuck in the same patterns, wondering why life isn't changing. The answer is simple. Life doesn't change unless you do. You have to want growth more than you want relief. And that's hard, because comfort is always close by. It tells you to take the day off. It tells you to try later. It tells you that right now isn't the right time. But growth doesn't work on your feelings. It works on your choices. The people who grow aren't the ones who wait for the perfect moment. They're the ones who act in spite of discomfort. They're the ones who show up when it's hard, who keep going when it's boring, who stay committed when it's not exciting anymore. You don't build a better life by accident. It takes decisions that go against what's easy. It takes doing what your future self will thank you for, even when your current self resists it. That means waking up early when your body wants more sleep. That means speaking up when staying quiet is safe. That means pushing yourself when you'd rather take it slow. You grow when you put pressure on your limits. You grow when you stop giving in to comfort. Comfort feels good right now, but it robs you of what could be. It delays your progress. It keeps your goals at a distance. It makes your potential harder to reach. And the longer you live in comfort, the harder it gets to step out of it. That's why you have to train yourself to lean into the hard things, not once. Every day. Make it a habit. Make it your standard. Start choosing what grows you, not what soothes you. Because comfort doesn't develop your mind. It doesn't strengthen your focus. It doesn't teach you anything new. Growth does. Growth forces you to learn. Growth sharpens your skills. Growth wakes you up. Growth makes you uncomfortable, but it also makes you better. When you avoid growth, you also avoid change. You keep repeating the same day with different excuses, and over time, you build a life that looks okay on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Because deep down, you know you've been playing it safe. Deep down, you know you've stopped challenging yourself. That creates frustration. That creates regret. And regret doesn't come from failure. It comes from knowing you didn't give it your all. Choosing growth means taking the road that asks more from you. It means setting higher standards. It means saying no to things that waste your energy. It means doing the work even when there's no reward yet. And most importantly, it means being honest with yourself. Are you really pushing yourself? Or are you just going through the motions? Are you living up to your potential, or are you making excuses for why you're not? The truth is, you know what needs to be done. You know the changes you've been avoiding. You know the actions that would make a difference. But comfort has made it easy to delay. It's made it easy to settle. It's made it easy to pretend that you're fine where you are. But if you're not growing, you're shrinking. There is no standing still. Time is still moving. Life is still moving. And if you don't move with it, you get left behind. So what does growth look like today? Maybe it means having the hard conversation. Maybe it means getting serious about your health. Maybe it means sticking to your goals even when motivation is gone. Maybe it means cutting off distractions. Maybe it means spending less time talking and more time doing. Growth looks different for everyone, but the feeling is always the same. It's uncomfortable. It's stretching, and it's worth it. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to stop doing nothing. Pick one area and start there. Push yourself just a little more than you did yesterday. Then keep going. Don't look for shortcuts. Don't expect it to be fun every day. Just commit to the process. Because results don't come from what you do once in a while. They come from what you do consistently. And yes, you'll be tired some days. You'll want to go back to the easy path. You'll have thoughts telling you to take it slow. But remember this: ease is a short-term win with long-term consequences. Growth is a short-term struggle with long-term rewards. The struggle won't last forever, but the results will. When you grow, you feel alive. You start to respect yourself. You start to see new possibilities. You start to realize how strong you really are. That's what makes the discomfort worth it. That's what keeps you going. And the more you choose growth, the more it becomes your default setting. You stop looking for ways out. You start looking for ways through. If you want to live a life you're proud of, you can't keep choosing comfort. You can't keep waiting for things to be easier. You have to rise. You have to level up. You have to become someone who shows up no matter what. That's where success lives. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where your best self is hiding. Behind the choices that scare you. Behind the actions that feel uncomfortable. Don't let today be another day you play small. Don't let comfort steal another chance from you. Decide right now that you're done settling. Decide right now that you're done delaying. Growth is a choice, and it's a choice you have to make daily. Not just once, not just when it's exciting, but every single day. Your life won't change in one big moment. It'll change in a series of small decisions, decisions that seem simple but shape everything. Decisions to get up, to start, to push, to stay in it. That's the path to growth. That's the path to becoming your best self. So take it, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the hard road is the one that leads somewhere. The easy one just brings you back to where you started. This is your time, not tomorrow, not someday, today, right now. Make the hard choice. Pick growth. Do what pushes you. Do what stretches you. And when your mind looks for the easy way out, remind yourself, comfort won't change your life. Growth will. Choose it, live it, become it.
Chapter 5. Hold yourself accountable when no one else does. The real test of your growth is what you do when nobody's watching. when there's no applause, no recognition, no one asking if you followed through. That's when your habits, your character, and your mindset are exposed. Anyone can act strong in front of a crowd. Anyone can say the right things when they're being watched. But the moment you're alone, the moment the pressure is off, that's where the truth shows up. That's when accountability matters most. And if you don't hold yourself to a high standard in those quiet moments, you'll keep falling short of the person you say you want to become. If you want to be someone who actually makes progress, you have to stop waiting for someone else to check in on you. Stop expecting people to push you. Stop hoping someone will fix your habits for you. It doesn't work that way. Progress is your job. Your standards are your responsibility. If you say you want change, prove it with what you do in silence. Prove it with your effort when no one's giving you a deadline. That's how real transformation happens. Accountability isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. It's about telling yourself the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Did you really do what you said you would do? Did you give your full effort? Did you follow through on the plan you set for yourself? Not just once, not just when it was easy, but every time you promised yourself you would. When you hold yourself to that level, something changes inside you. You stop making excuses. You stop pretending. You stop lowering your expectations. And you start becoming the kind of person who lives with discipline. You don't need a boss to tell you to show up. You don't need a friend to remind you to stay consistent. You don't need a coach hovering over you every day. You need to become someone who leads yourself, someone who takes ownership of their time, their actions, and their attitude. Because once you do that, you become unstoppable. You don't depend on motivation. You don't crumble when no one's cheering for you. You keep showing up because you said you would. The reason most people stay stuck is because they only perform when there's pressure. They work hard when someone is watching. They show up when it's urgent. But when it's just them, they let things slide. They relax their effort. They delay their goals. They break their own rules. That's why their confidence is low. Because deep down they know they can't trust themselves. They know they're not following through. If you want to feel stronger mentally, start keeping your word to yourself, not to impress others, not to earn praise, but because you've made a decision to live with discipline. Start tracking your progress. Start noticing where you fall off. Don't make it emotional. Don't blame your past. Just get honest. Where are you cutting corners? Where are you slacking? Where are you making promises and not keeping them? The standard you accept when you're alone is the standard that defines your life. Raise it. Don't lower it because no one else is looking. Don't compromise because it's more comfortable. Push yourself to stay aligned with your goals, no matter how tired you are, no matter how long it takes. That's how confidence is built. That's how you earn your own respect. And once you respect yourself, everything else gets easier. Your focus sharpens. Your energy increases. Your goals feel real. Because now you know you're the one who makes it happen. Most people spend their lives waiting to be led, waiting for direction, waiting for someone to tell them what to do next. That keeps them passive. That keeps them stuck. But if you want to lead your life, truly lead it, you have to start acting without being told. You have to take initiative. You have to wake up each day and decide, this is what needs to be done, and I'm doing it. You won't always feel like doing the work. That's normal. You won't always feel proud of your effort. That's part of the process. But the goal is progress, not perfection. You're not here to be flawless. You're here to be accountable. You're here to grow. You're here to break your own cycle and rebuild stronger. And that takes consistency. It takes honesty. It takes a willingness to be uncomfortable for the sake of something greater. Accountability starts in the smallest details. It starts with showing up when you said you would, finishing what you start, turning off distractions when it's time to focus, saying no to the easy path when you know it's not helping you. These aren't dramatic changes. They're subtle, but they matter, because over time these little decisions create a new version of you, a version that's sharp, a version that's reliable, a version that doesn't need to be pushed, because you've already made the decision to lead yourself. And you don't need to shout about your progress. You don't need to post about it. You just need to be about it. Quietly, consistently. Let your actions speak louder than anything you say. Let your results be the proof. You'll notice the shift. You'll start feeling more in control, more grounded, more certain, because you're not relying on outside pressure to move forward. You've built the discipline to move on your own. That kind of strength can't be bought. It can't be borrowed. It can only be built. And it's built in the quiet moments. The moments where nobody else sees. The moments where you're tempted to slack off. The moments where you have to choose between the temporary relief of giving in and the long-term reward of staying disciplined. If you want to be proud of your life, don't base your actions on how you feel in the moment. Base them on who you've decided to become. That decision needs to guide you. Every day, in everything. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. The more you follow through, the more powerful you become. The more you keep your word, the more trust you build with yourself. You don't need to be told what to do anymore. You already know. What you need is to stop running from the responsibility. You need to take that pressure and use it. Use it to sharpen your focus. Use it to raise your standard. Use it to stop living like effort is optional. Because it's not. Effort is the price you pay for growth. And here's the truth. If you can't hold yourself accountable, no amount of advice will change your life. No program, no mentor, no motivation video. Nothing will work if you don't start holding yourself to a higher standard. You are the foundation. Your actions decide the direction. Your habits decide the pace. Your choices decide the results. It's all on you, and that's not a burden. That's a gift. That means you're in control. You don't have to wait to become someone worth respecting. Start with today. Start by doing the things you said you would. Start by owning your mistakes. Start by correcting your behavior. Start by staying consistent, even when it's quiet, even when it's hard, even when no one else is paying attention. Because the person you become in the dark is the person who shines the brightest when the light comes. That's the kind of strength that lasts. That's the kind of discipline that separates you. And that's what success is really built on. Not talent, not chance, but personal accountability. Every single day, starting now. Chapter 6. Act like the person you want to become. You don't become your best self by waiting. You become it by acting like it. Most people have a version of themselves in their mind. Someone stronger, more focused, more disciplined, more respected. They talk about becoming that version someday. But someday never comes unless you begin to act like that person today. It's not about faking anything. It's about aligning your actions with your intentions. If you want to grow, you must behave like the person you're aiming to be. Not once, not when it's convenient, but every single day, especially when it's hard. You already know who you want to be. That version is clear to you. The one who follows through, the one who keeps their word, the one who doesn't cut corners, But if your behavior still looks like the old you, the one who delays, avoids, makes excuses, then nothing will change. You can't think your way into becoming someone else. You have to act it out. And that means making decisions before you're fully ready, showing up before you feel prepared, and carrying yourself with the kind of respect and discipline that version of you would demand. Start with how you carry yourself. That version of you that you admire, how do they start the day? How do they speak? How do they walk into a room? How do they handle pressure? Begin practicing those behaviors right now. Don't wait to feel qualified. Qualification comes from consistency. The only way to close the gap between who you are and who you want to be is through action. That means showing up differently. If the future you is someone who's calm under pressure, start training that calmness today. If the future you is someone who works with discipline, stop negotiating with your laziness. If the future you is someone who gets things done early, stop saying you'll start tomorrow. Behavior builds belief. The more you practice the habits of the person you admire, the more natural they become. Every moment is a chance to make a different choice. You're either strengthening the version of you that stays stuck, or the version of you that rises. There is no neutral ground, so ask yourself, who do I want to be today? And then prove it with your choices. Prove it by how you respond to stress. Prove it by how you manage your time. Prove it by how you treat your responsibilities. This isn't about pretending. It's not about acting perfect. It's about building alignment. You say you want to be someone better. Great. Then live like it. Dress like it. Speak like it. Think like it. Move like it. It's not about showing off. It's about living with intention. If the person you're becoming values discipline, then make it your rule. If they value focus, protect your attention. If they value health, change what you eat and how you move. And don't just wait for the big moments. The transformation happens in the little ones, the 10-minute decisions, the daily routines, the repeated responses to stress, the actions that feel invisible to others, but build identity inside you. That's where real change lives. Not in what you tell others, but in how you quietly lead yourself through your day. You won't feel like it most days. That's normal. But growth isn't about feelings, it's about direction. If you know where you're headed, stop asking yourself how you feel about it. Start asking what needs to be done. The version of you that wins doesn't check how motivated they are, they check how disciplined they're becoming. The longer you delay acting like that future version of you, the longer you delay becoming them, and no one else is going to do that work for you. No one else will come along and make the transformation happen. You have to become your own driver. You have to wake up and decide that today, again, you're going to carry yourself like that person. Even when you're tired. Even when it feels pointless. Even when no one notices. Especially then, because something happens when you keep showing up like that. You start building belief. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's just trying. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And when that shift happens, your energy changes. Your words carry weight. Your decisions become sharper. Your life starts matching the one you imagined. And the people around you begin to notice something different, not because you told them, but because you became it. The future version of you is not found. It's created, and it's created one habit at a time, one mindset shift at a time, one difficult decision at a time. You can read all the books. You can watch all the content, but until you start acting like that person, it's all just theory. It only becomes real when you live it out. And this takes discipline. It takes self-awareness. It takes you being willing to say, I'm not there yet, but I'm going to live like I am. That means stepping into rooms with confidence, even when you feel unsure. That means speaking up with clarity, even when your voice shakes. That means making choices that stretch you, not shrink you, because that's what your future self would do. You're not stuck, you're not too late, you're not behind, you're just one committed decision away from shifting everything. But it starts with you taking responsibility for your direction. It starts with you no longer identifying with your past. It starts with you aligning your actions with your potential, not your fears. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting to feel ready. You're ready when you decide to act like it. Start measuring your days by how aligned your actions are with the future you want. Did you move like someone who's growing? Did you speak like someone who values their voice? Did you manage your time like someone who's serious about their goals? That's how you track progress, not just by results but by alignment. And yes, it will feel like a stretch at first. That's the point. You're breaking away from who you've been. You're interrupting the cycle of settling. You're replacing automatic responses with intentional decisions. It takes effort. It takes self-control. But it also builds something that no one can take from you, a reputation with yourself. And once you trust yourself, you no longer need external validation. You no longer need people to push you. You become your own standard. The shift you're looking for is not going to appear out of nowhere. It's going to come from the way you carry yourself today, right now. You can keep acting like the old version and reliving the same outcomes, or you can step into a new level, the one that reflects who you know you can be. And it all starts with your next move. Make it count. Act like the person you want to become because you're the only one who can. Chapter 7. Drop the excuses and take real steps forward. You either move forward or you stay stuck. There's no middle ground, and what keeps most people stuck isn't lack of potential, it's the excuses they keep using to stay where they are. The reasons sound believable. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll start next week. I'm waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, excuses are just delays in disguise. They give you a way to avoid effort without feeling guilty. They sound like protection, but they quietly steal your progress. You can't keep holding on to excuses and expect your life to move forward. At some point, you have to face the reality that nothing is going to change until you stop justifying where you are. You can explain why you haven't started. You can explain why things are tough. But explaining doesn't create results. Only action does. And the longer you allow your excuses to speak louder than your goals, the longer you'll live below your potential. Every time you give an excuse, you hand away control. You tell yourself that something outside of you is responsible for your lack of movement. But that mindset doesn't build anything. It doesn't help you grow. It doesn't make you stronger. It makes you reactive instead of responsible. It turns you into someone who waits instead of someone who leads. If you want change, if you want to become better, then the excuses have to go. Not tomorrow, not when it's easier. Now, excuses are safe. They give you a way to protect your pride, because if you never fully try, you never have to fully fail. But that's also the reason you stay stuck. You're protecting the version of yourself that doesn't grow. You're holding back because you're afraid of what might happen if you actually put in the work and it doesn't go as planned. But nothing is worse than living with the regret of never trying. That regret stays longer than any fear ever will. You don't need to wait until conditions are perfect. That day isn't coming. The house won't suddenly get quiet. The schedule won't magically open up. The motivation won't always show up on time. What you need is to start with what you have. Take the first step. Clean up one part of your life. Stick to one simple rule. Make one strong decision. Movement creates momentum. And the only way to build momentum is to take a real step forward. Not a plan, not a thought, a step. People will always find a reason why they can't. But that's not what builds progress. You build progress by finding a way to start anyway, even if it's small, even if it's awkward, even if it's not perfect. Because once you begin, your mindset starts to shift. You stop seeing the problem. You start looking at the possibilities. You stop focusing on what's missing. You begin to see what's available. Start being honest with yourself. Ask the tough questions. What excuse do I keep repeating? What story am I still hiding behind? What patterns have I normalized that are keeping me stuck? And then get clear about what needs to be done. Not what you feel like doing. Not what's easy, but what needs to be done. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need everything figured out. You need to move. You need to stop telling yourself you'll try later and start proving that you're serious now. Because the longer you sit with excuses, the heavier they get. They start shaping your identity. They start sounding like truth. And pretty soon you forget what you're capable of. Not because you're not capable, but because you've stopped putting yourself in a position to grow. Your habits are a reflection of your priorities. If you say you want to improve, but your actions say otherwise, something's off. You can't say you want progress and keep living like it doesn't matter. You can't keep doing what's comfortable and expect new results. Progress comes with a price, and that price is the end of your excuses. Make a decision today that you're done explaining yourself to yourself. No more, I didn't have time. No more, I wasn't in the mood. No more, I'll do it later. Those phrases kill more dreams than failure ever could. Be the kind of person who moves forward anyway. Be the kind of person who doesn't need perfect conditions to make real progress. And don't confuse being busy with being effective. Sometimes the excuse is masked as productivity. You're doing a lot, but not the things that matter. You're staying active, but you're avoiding the hard things. If you really want to grow, face the uncomfortable areas. Tackle what you've been avoiding. Go straight into what feels difficult, because that's where your growth is hiding. You don't need a full roadmap. You just need one clear action and the courage to take it. You need to stop recycling the same plans that never turn into progress. And you need to stop forgiving yourself for quitting before you even begin. Be patient with the outcome, but be relentless with the action. Keep moving. Keep adjusting. Keep taking steps. And most importantly, stop making excuses that protect the version of you that isn't growing. Nothing changes until you do. Your life is not waiting on a perfect day. It's waiting on your decision to stop delaying your effort, to stop protecting your comfort, to stop thinking that next week will feel easier than today. It won't. The work will still be there. The time will still be limited. The distractions will still show up, but you'll be stronger. Because now, you're not depending on ideal conditions. You're depending on your commitment. There's freedom on the other side of your excuses. Freedom to finally move. Freedom to build momentum. Freedom to grow into someone who doesn't settle. But to reach that, you have to let go of the stories that keep you small. You have to stop making your challenges an excuse to do nothing. Start turning them into a reason to rise. Use the pressure. Use the frustration. Use the fact that you're tired of starting over as fuel to keep moving. You've been waiting long enough. You've had enough time to think about it. Now it's time to act like it matters. And it starts with a simple rule. No more excuses. From this moment forward, if something needs to be done, you do it. Not because it's fun, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That's how real progress is made. That's how your future is built. And that's how you become the person you were meant to be. One decision, one step, one day at a time, all without excuses. Chapter 8. Use your time better instead of wasting it. Time is not something you get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can lose money and make it again. You can miss an opportunity and wait for another, but time, that doesn't come around twice. That's why how you use your time says everything about how serious you are about your life. You can't talk about goals while wasting half your day on things that don't move you forward. You can't say you want change and keep using your time like it doesn't matter. Because the truth is, your life is the sum of how you spend your hours. Most people don't run out of time. They waste it, not in huge ways all at once. In small ways that add up. 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Scrolling through nonsense. Talking about things that don't matter. Putting off what should have been done today. Time slips away quietly. You don't even notice until you look up one day and wonder where the last 6 months went. That's why it's so important to start treating your time like it matters, because it does. Using your time better doesn't mean filling every second. It means being intentional. It means knowing what matters and cutting out what doesn't. It means stopping yourself when you drift into distraction. It means having a plan and sticking to it, even when you're tempted to waste another hour. Because here's the reality, no one is coming to manage your time for you. No one's going to hold your hand and keep you focused. That's on you. And if you don't control your time, something else will. Distractions will. Laziness will. Comfort will. You have to decide. Do you run your time? Or does your time run you? Every day gives you the same 24 hours. The question is, how much of that are you giving to things that serve your future? How much of that are you using to build something you'll be proud of? If you're honest with yourself, you already know the answer. You know where you're wasting it. You know what you do to avoid the hard stuff. You know what pulls your attention away from the things that matter. And the fix doesn't require magic. It just requires discipline. Start with structure. Give your day a shape. Decide what hours belong to your goals, your growth, your responsibilities, and then protect those hours. Don't just drift into your day and hope you get to everything. That leads to nothing but frustration. You need to lead your time. Take charge of it. Break it down. Know what you're working on and why. Because clarity is what cuts out waste. If you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to do nothing. Look at the first hour of your day. That hour is powerful. It sets the direction. If you're using it for distractions, your focus will suffer all day long. If you're using it to align with your purpose, everything else becomes easier. The same goes for the last hour of your day. It prepares you for tomorrow. It clears your mind. It helps you reflect and reset. Use it well, and you'll feel more in control. Waste it, and you'll feel like you're always playing catch-up. This isn't about being perfect with your time. It's about being better. A little better each day. That adds up. 10 wasted minutes today turns into hours of lost progress in a week. But 10 minutes of focused effort each day turns into momentum. You don't need to flip your whole schedule overnight. Start small. Pick one part of your day and improve it. Get consistent, then move to the next. Keep adjusting until your time starts working for you. And let's be honest, you know what wastes your time. You know the habits, the distractions, the people, the thoughts. Stop pretending you don't. Stop justifying it. Stop acting like you have endless hours to give away. You don't. Every hour you give to something meaningless is an hour you're not giving to something important. You have to care enough about your future to protect your time from your present laziness. That's the real shift. And once you start using your time better, everything changes. You feel lighter. You stop rushing. You stop feeling like you're behind. You make progress you can see. You build trust with yourself. You stop ending each day wondering where the time went, and you start ending it knowing you moved forward, even if just by a little. Most people spend more time avoiding effort than it would take to actually make progress. That's the trap. Wasting time often feels easier in the moment, but it costs more in the long run. Lost time creates stress. It creates guilt. It piles up until even small tasks feel like a mountain. And once you're in that cycle, it gets harder to move. But you can break that cycle. You can take back control. And it starts with being ruthless about what gets your time. You don't owe your time to everything that asks for it. You don't have to respond to every message. You don't have to be available for every request. You have a right to say no. You have a right to protect your focus. You have a right to prioritize your own growth. Because if you don't, no one else will. Look at your screen time. Look at how many hours go into things that give you nothing back. Then ask yourself, what would happen if I used just half that time on my goals, on my mindset, on my health? You already have the time. You just need to use it differently. And that starts with a decision. A decision to stop drifting. A decision to stop letting the clock run your life. A decision to show up with purpose. Using your time better also means knowing when to rest. Rest is not wasting time. If it's intentional, you need recovery. You need moments of stillness. But you don't need to escape from your life all day long. There's a difference between rest and avoidance. One rebuilds you, the other delays your growth. Learn to know the difference. You don't need to be busy every hour. You need to be deliberate. Even time off can be valuable when it's chosen with intention. But wasting time out of habit, that's what steals your progress. That's what eats away at your discipline. So don't fill your day with noise. Fill it with actions that count. Time doesn't slow down for anyone. It doesn't pause for your distractions. It doesn't care about your feelings. It just keeps moving. And you have to decide if you're going to move with it, or let it pass you by. The people who win are not always the smartest. They're the ones who learned how to manage their hours. They show up on purpose. They get things done. They build routines that serve them. And they don't waste time on things that don't matter. That's your next level. Not more effort. Better effort. Not more hours. Better use of your hours. Don't chase busy. Chase results. Keep your time clean. Keep it focused. Keep it aligned with who you want to become. Because once time is gone, you can't rewind it. You can't buy it. You can't borrow more. You either used it well, or you lost it. And that's the truth most people ignore until it's too late. Don't be one of them. Start today. Not next week. Not after the next distraction. Start now. Use your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 9. Be honest about what's holding you back now. Change doesn't start with more effort. It starts with more honesty. If you really want to grow, you have to be willing to face what's holding you back. Not later, not when it's convenient, but right now. Most people say they want to improve, but they avoid the hard truth. They stay busy. They stay distracted. They blame outside pressure. They look for new plans. But none of that works if you're not willing to admit what's really in the way. You can't build a better life while ignoring the things that keep pulling you down. Being honest isn't about beating yourself up. It's not about shame. It's about facing what's real so you can finally do something about it. Maybe you've been hiding behind your comfort zone. Maybe you've been making decisions that are easy instead of necessary. Maybe you've been lying to yourself about how consistent you really are. That kind of truth can sting, but it's also the only place where real change begins. You already know what's been slowing you down. You've felt it. You've seen it in the results you're not getting. You've heard it in the excuses you repeat. And the longer you avoid that truth, the longer you'll keep circling the same problems. You can't move forward if you're still dragging around the same patterns. You can't break through if you won't admit what you've been protecting. Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's just a lack of discipline. But whatever it is, it's yours to face. The strongest people aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're the ones who are willing to face what's broken. They're not scared of the truth. They use it. They sit with it. They let it guide their next move. You can't get stronger if you keep lying about your weaknesses. You can't fix what you refuse to see. That's why self-honesty is the foundation of personal growth. It's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say things aren't working because of your job, your family, your past, your schedule. But you have to be willing to ask yourself, what part of this is on me? What choices have I made that I keep pretending don't matter? What habits have I built that are quietly wasting my potential? You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to stop hiding from the questions. Maybe you've gotten used to being distracted. Maybe you've been telling yourself you're trying, but deep down you know you're avoiding the real work. Maybe you've convinced yourself you're too busy, when really you're just scared to commit. That's not weakness. That's being human. But it doesn't mean you stay stuck. It means you finally decide to do something different. Being honest means admitting that not everything you're doing is working. It means facing the things you've avoided. It means recognizing that some of your routines, some of your relationships, some of your beliefs, they aren't helping you. And even if they used to, they're not anymore. Growth means outgrowing excuses, outgrowing patterns, outgrowing the version of you that keeps playing it safe. And it takes courage to do that. It takes strength to look at yourself without filters. It's easier to pretend. It's easier to say you're fine. But nothing changes in denial. Change only comes when you choose truth over comfort. When you stop making excuses. When you stop delaying. When you say, this part of me needs to improve, and I'm not running from it anymore. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Most of what holds people back isn't complexity. It's clarity. They don't know what to fix because they're not being real about what's broken. They think they need more motivation. They think they need a new system. But what they need is to face what they already know they've been ignoring. Sometimes it's fear of failure. Sometimes it's not wanting to be judged. Sometimes it's a comfort in staying where things are familiar, even if it's not fulfilling. But if you want to grow, you have to break that pattern. You have to stop avoiding the discomfort of truth. And you have to stop waiting for someone else to call it out for you. You already know. Now you act on it. Ask yourself right now, what have I been pretending not to see? Where am I not giving my best effort? What am I still blaming that I need to take responsibility for? If you can answer those questions honestly, you're already ahead of most people. Because the truth is hard to face. But once you do, the path forward becomes a lot clearer. You can't lie to yourself and expect your life to work. So stop pretending your habits aren't the problem if they are. Stop acting like time is your enemy when you know you've been wasting it. Stop saying you don't know where to start when deep down you do. You're just afraid to begin. That's where the real shift happens. Not in doing more, not in waiting longer, in finally being honest with yourself about why you've been stuck. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything under control. You just need to stop running from the part of you that needs to grow up, because that part is not going away. It keeps showing up in your thoughts, in your choices, in the outcomes you're tired of getting. It will stay there until you deal with it. That means being more disciplined. It means choosing better routines. It means letting go of behaviors that keep you small. It means doing the hard thing when the easy thing is available. Because the person you're becoming needs a different version of you, one that stops hiding, one that faces the truth, one that's not scared to change direction. You don't need a restart. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to stop lying to yourself about what's in the way. Face it, name it, deal with it. And once you do, you'll be surprised how quickly progress starts to show up. Because now, you're working with clarity. You're no longer wasting energy keeping up the act. You're focused. You're clean. You're honest. And that's when you become dangerous. In the best way. You can't fix what you don't face. You can't grow through what you won't admit. You can't win with a strategy that's built on denial. Get real. Stay real. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Not because someone told you to, but because you've decided that you're no longer available for a life that's built on excuses. That's your power. That's your turning point. That's the start of a real transformation. Not in doing more things, in doing the right things. And the right things only become visible when you're honest enough to clear away the noise. So be real with yourself. Not once every day. Ask better questions. Give honest answers. Face your own patterns. And then start rebuilding from there. Brick by brick, truth by truth, action by action. That's how you take your life back. That's how you become your best self. It starts with honesty, not later, right now. Chapter 10. Prove through action that change starts with you. Change doesn't begin when you talk about it. It doesn't begin when you plan it. It doesn't even begin when you believe in it. Change begins when you take action. Not just once, not just when you feel inspired, but every single time you choose discipline over delay, progress over comfort, and effort over excuses. If you want your life to look different, you have to act like it matters. You have to stop waiting for outside forces to shift and start becoming the person who shifts everything from within. You've heard enough. You've seen enough. Now it's about proving it. With what you do, not what you say. You can't keep blaming your past, your environment, or your situation. You don't need a better background. You need better behavior. You don't need more time. You need better use of the time you already have. You don't need anyone to come fix your life. You need to take full ownership and prove that you're capable of leading it yourself. Action is the evidence. Without it, everything else is just noise. Without it, all your words, dreams, and intentions stay stuck in your head and never turn into reality. The people who make real change are not the ones with the perfect plan. They're the ones who take responsibility and start. They don't wait for the right mood or perfect motivation. They create momentum through consistent behavior. They choose to lead themselves when it would be easier to wait for someone else to push them. That's what separates those who stay the same from those who transform. It's not their resources. It's not their luck. It's the way they move when no one's watching. It's the way they carry themselves when no one claps. It's the decisions they make when the only accountability is the voice inside their head. You don't prove change through talking about what you'll do someday. You prove it through the habits you follow today. You prove it through getting up earlier when you said you would. Through completing the tasks you set for yourself. Through choosing healthy actions when it's easier to stay lazy. You show yourself and the world that your standards are no longer negotiable. And when that shift happens, you start to trust yourself, because you're no longer relying on hope. You're building results from consistency. There's no shortcut for becoming your best self. It's a decision followed by thousands of small choices that reinforce it. It's waking up and acting in alignment with the life you say you want. It's doing the hard thing without needing to be convinced. It's following through without needing a reward. When your actions line up with your values, you begin to build identity. You begin to walk with purpose. You begin to stop chasing motivation and start producing progress. Change doesn't need permission. It needs a plan and the courage to follow through. That means getting serious about your time, getting focused on your priorities, getting ruthless with your distractions. Not because it's trendy, but because you know what's at stake. You've wasted enough days trying to find the easy way. Now you know the only way is to work your way through it. And this isn't about perfection. You'll have setbacks. You'll miss a day. You'll fall short. That's not failure, that's feedback. The goal is not to never mess up. The goal is to never quit. To get back on track the moment you realize you've drifted. To stay committed even when the results are invisible. Because what builds strength is not instant payoff. It's the quiet days when you stay disciplined anyway. The difference between you now and the version of you that has everything you want is not ability. It's behavior. And behavior is something you can change starting now. You don't need to wait until next week. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need a full plan. You need to act in alignment with who you want to be. That means choosing progress over pride. It means taking the first step even when you're unsure. It means proving to yourself that your word matters. Your future isn't built by luck. It's built by patterns. Patterns of showing up. Patterns of thinking clearly. Patterns of removing what's not helping and reinforcing what is. That's how you create a life you're proud of, not through one big move, but through steady, consistent action that you repeat until it becomes your new normal. You've already waited long enough. You've already made enough excuses. It's time to prove that you mean it, not by writing it down, not by telling your friends, but by changing how you show up. You don't need the world's permission. You just need your own. You need to draw the line and say, this is the version of me I no longer support. This is where it changes. And that change doesn't need to be dramatic. You don't need to flip your whole life overnight. You need to stack one good decision on another. Get clear on what matters. Eliminate what distracts. Show up even when it's hard. Do the work even when it's quiet. And stay consistent even when it's not exciting. Every decision is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Every action either reinforces your old identity or helps create a new one. And when you keep choosing what's hard but necessary, your confidence grows. You stop needing to be pushed. You start pushing yourself. You stop living on potential. You start living with results. You don't change your life in theory. You change it in practice, through your routine, through your habits, through your mindset, through the way you speak about your goals, through the way you manage your mornings, through the effort you give when no one would blame you for quitting. That's what real power looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just disciplined, just consistent, just honest. You stop pretending and start proving. You stop waiting and start building. You stop blaming and start owning. Because you've realized that change doesn't come to those who talk the most. It comes to those who act the most, who commit the most, who stay the longest. You've got the choice. Keep playing small and explaining your limits, or start rising and acting like change is your job. Because it is. You are the only one who can lead this shift. No one else is responsible. No one else is in control. You are. And the more you act like it, the more everything around you starts to respond. So don't say you're serious. Show it. Don't wait for momentum. Create it. Don't hope for progress. Earn it. And every day, wake up and decide again that you are the one who sets the tone, that you are the one who leads the direction, that your actions are the proof that change doesn't live in words. It lives in motion, and that motion starts with you.